Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I am so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 14th of March at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know we're over in the chat room, and you can find that by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number 2 radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. I also want to let you know that I am live streaming this event. You can find that by heading over to Facebook or YouTube. Look for Katie Weaver, Domestic Mystic, and you'll find it there if you'd rather watch than listen. It's been a hot minute. I wasn't here last week. I'll tell you about it. But I hope that you guys are well and that you are having that last week was good for you and that you are doing well. So last week we were kind of in the throes of the full moon, and it was an interesting one. I wouldn't say it was a painful one, at least not for me, but man, sleep was something. Of course, I was sleeping in an Airbnb, so that might be part of it. Uh, but sleep was very weird for me last week. So I'm curious to know how you guys did with the full moon, and also just how you're doing in general. We should have some time for some readings today. We are going to do some sound therapy, do some talking, the normal stuff. So I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are here. So last week, I went to Tucson to watch Mars play softball. So I still worked a lot from our Airbnb, but also got to travel for 7 days, and it was really fun. It was nice. Man, Tucson was gorgeous, gorgeous. But I'm trying to turn over a new leaf and not just get completely fried over the spring softball season. So I did really good with sunblock. So no raccoon eyes. I know. This is the first for many years. Hopefully I can keep that going. But yeah, we it was great. The girls played 11 games over the course of 7 days and won 10, lost one. So we'll take that. That's awesome. Yeah. And what can I say? We had some adventures. Our older daughter, Matea, came with us. So it was Scott, Matea, and I. And we had a babysitter that stayed home with the dogs and the pigs. So they got to have a puppy sitter, and they did mostly good. There was one incident. Other than that, they did really good. Uh, so it was also very weird to be away from my dogs for 7 days. Whew, I don't do that very often. And I did not like it at all. But then again, here we are. So it was nice to come home to them. So when we were in Tucson, you guys may laugh because you probably live in places that you have stuff like this, but we don't. We found a grocery no, we found a wine store that was the size of a grocery store. Total Wine, I think it was called, or something like that. Holy moly. Yeah. So that was an experience and a half. All of the fancy wines and all of the other all this stuff. So I've really developed a taste for gin lately. Do you guys know how great gin is? Gin's great. Anyway, so I keep having gins pop up like on my For You page and stuff like that that I want that you can't get in Idaho. Our state dispensary is pretty limited, and our liquor stores are all owned by the state, and they are very limited in what they get. And so, if you're looking for cooler, fancier stuff, you're probably not going to get it. But anyway, they had it all. So, yeah, I drug home 4 different kinds of gin. No, not gonna lie. And some absinthe that, I'm gonna try. I love absinthe, but the last 2 times I have drank absinthe, and don't get me wrong, I'm not a drink to get drunk drinker. I'm a social once or twice a month, have a few drinks drinker, right? I'm not much of a drinker, actually. My body's not a huge fan. I mean, I already don't feel good. I I can't. There's only so far I can go with alcohol. But anyway, the absinthe I have, the last 2 times I've had it, I threw up. So I don't know if it's that absinthe or if the wormwood, if that's just not going to work out for me. I don't know. So I bought a different absinthe that looked really cool. That actually is from Oregon. So that was kind of fun. Anyway, Lillian is a ginaholic. Mary said gin fizzes are the bomb. Yes, 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 and yes. Well, I have a weird combo going because I also really love Moscow mules. I like a gin Moscow mule. And that's probably like, I don't know, some kind of sin somewhere, but I don't care. I do what I want. But anyway, yeah, yeah. First time I've been in a Total Wine, Lillian. What the hell? Yeah, very fun store. So anyway, and then we came home. We drove there through Vegas. I wouldn't stop because whew, Vegas. I don't hate Vegas. I have been to Vegas lots of times. My great grandpa lived in Vegas. Not great grandpa, my grandpa lived in Vegas clear until like 2 years ago. But man, the energy of Vegas is so hard, so hard. And I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. So we didn't stop, but we did go through Vegas to get to Tucson. So on the way home, we went a different route and went through Navajo Nation, which is always an interesting experience. It's a humbling experience. It should be a humbling experience. We stopped at a few different roadside stands and bought jewelry and visited with people, and that was a very cool experience. They've been getting some rain out there that they normally don't get. And this guy that I bought some jewelry from told me that he said, I love it when the rain starts because then the roadrunners come back. He said that they get all of these roadrunners around their stand and around their house that are fearless. He said they're not afraid of people at all. He said I'll just be standing here in my booth and turn around and there's just a roadrunner standing there watching me. And he'll just hang out with me for a while and then wander out when he wants to. Anyway, he was showing me how you can look out across the sagebrush and watch for the little tufts of their little heads, bouncing around. Anyhow, it was so then all the whole rest of our trip, we watched for roadrunners. We did not see any, but maybe they haven't come back yet. But anyway, I bought some really cool jewelry though from a few different stands, and that was fun. So anyway, I mean, overall, what we did go along, I think I'm not sure. I'm going to say North Rim, but that might be wrong. Of the Grand Canyon, yeah. I mean, I've seen the Grand Canyon a few times, so that's not that exciting. But we went over the new Hoover Dam, you know. Also not that exciting. The old Hoover Dam was very cool to drive over. This one is that the side rails are so high that you don't really see anything. But a lot of cool rocks. The rock formations out in that area, all the red rocks are really freaking cool. Also on the way home, we were only 30 minutes from Sedona. I really toyed with just taking a quick detour and going into Sedona and visiting a couple of vortexes for fun, but it's a 14-hour drive and we do it in one day. So there's only so many you know, veers off of the beaten path you better take or you're never going home. So no Sedona this time, but maybe next time. Yeah. Oh, Lillian said that sounds like a wonderful trip. I did that when I was 15, Hoover Dam and Vegas. Didn't appreciate it then, but I loved the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I loved the Grand Canyon too the first couple of times. Now I'm like, huh, it's just, yeah. Yeah. And the new, it's not really a dam now. It's just a bridge. I mean, the Hoover Dam is there, but it's not exciting. It used to be cool. It used to be super cool to drive over. Now, eh, buh. Except for that you are going over some, I mean, the The landscape is cool. It's just that from the car, you can't really see much. I think there is a walking path too, but again, 14-hour drive with stops to potty and get food and gas, you're looking at more like a 15, 16-hour drive. Yeah, there's not a lot of stopping. Oh, we also visited an Aldi. I know, you guys are probably dying. We don't have Aldis around here, and I always hear people talking about buying stuff at Aldi and how awesome it is. So we really wanted to go to an Aldi. So we did make a waylay into Phoenix to visit an Aldi, and it was like a mini Aldi, I think. It didn't have as much of the stuff I've seen from other people, but it was cool. It was a neat store. If you've never been in Aldi's, I would say it's kind of a cross between Trader Joe's and Winco. How's that? What do you think? Anyway, so there you go. It was nice. Mars had one day off where we got to take her for the entire day. So we brought her back to our Airbnb and did all of her laundry and just had a whole day kicking around. The girls wanted to shop at a Five Below, something else we don't have. That's kind of a fun store. I thought that was great. We had lunch. Oh, I embarrassed myself. Oh, maybe I did. I don't really care. But I'm the one, you know? I am the one that will say the thing. So there is a team that we played there twice that's actually in our conference. It's really weird to travel clear from northern Montana all the way to Tucson to play a team that is 30 miles from you. Well, maybe not 60 miles from you. I don't know. Not very far, but whatever. It's what happened. So we were playing this team. Their name is Williston. Uh, Williston historically has been terrible. And we always beat them like by a million points. Super nice girls. Their coach is a super cool guy, but their team really struggles. But whatever. Anyway, however, we played them and they have improved a lot, really a lot. They've got a pitcher. That's been their problem in the past, not much of a pitcher. They've got a pitcher going on and they put a pretty good run on us. And we were pitching like third and fourth string pitchers because, those are good games to give everybody some experience, but they put a run on us and we beat them, but not by a lot. And anyway, game's over. We take Mars, we go out to dinner at the Olive Garden. We're clear on the other side of town. And again, this is a huge town, right? So we sit down to eat. Well, I'm not paying any attention to my surroundings, pretty normal for me. And I didn't notice that a whole bunch of Williston people came in and sat right across the partition from us. Do you know where this is going? So, like a complete asshole, I said loudly, because we had to play him again. I said, "Oh my God, you guys, if you guys lose to Williston, I will die of embarrassment." That's what I said. That's what I said. Right in front of all those Williston people. Yeah. Mars, Scott, Matea, they were all like, "Shut up. There are Williston people right there." No, I didn't know. I, I know. I There's something about getting older that you just say the things, but, you know? Anyway, so it is what it is, but the other fun thing we got to do, because when we got to our Airbnb, we discovered that it had a really cool backyard. No, we beat them. We beat them. Yeah, by a lot the second time because we were ready for that, but, they only have one good pitcher. We have 5. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it means that our program has more money and better recruiting and, you know, it's just nice girls though. And their coach, we visited with him before the game. He's a cool dude, but anyway, it's whatever. But this is such a jerk. But anyway, because we had such a nice backyard, we decided to host the team for a meal. You can only imagine how expensive it is, these trips. They fly them there and then they're in a hotel for 7 nights, the whole team, so we're talking about 20 girls, and then they have to feed them all of those meals, and, I mean, the school basically pays for everything. I mean, it's besides incidentals and stuff, but, as far as like all their basic needs are met, and those trips are crazy expensive. So, as parents, if you can help offset that with in any way, it's nice to do and helpful. And so, anyway, we decided to host the girls, and then that also blew into hosting the parents. So, one night we did a street taco meal for 50 people at our Airbnb. My God, we're lucky we didn't get kicked out. But but again, really nice backyard. So, and there was so much food left over that we were able to host just the girls the next night and feed them again. So, I mean, it's highly appreciated by the coach because that saves her budget a good chunk of money to not have to feed the girls dinner twice. And, we love it. We love having the girls around and being able to do things for them. So, anyway, you probably heard enough about my trip, but there you go. We had a lot of fun. It was great. It's really, really nice to be home. But I came home yesterday. Well, we came home Sunday, but I came home yesterday to the greatest surprise. The greatest surprise. Sitting in my office yesterday morning, drinking coffee, getting some work done. And what do I see swooping around outside my office window? My crows. My crows are back. Now, those guys have got to be wondering what the hell is going on here because we are not we are not out of winter by any stretch. We still have a ton of snow. And I know they didn't do this on purpose, but there they were. So I told Scott we have to figure out a way to feed the crows because they're back and much for there can't be much for food for them. And not that the crows can't take care of themselves, I'm sure they can. But they were yelling outside my window, because I normally do feed them. So Scott, being the trooper he is, shoveled a path to the backyard, or not to the backyard, sorry, shoveled a path to their feeder and cleaned all of the snow out of it. And we ran to the store and picked up cat food and peanuts. Those are the things that they like to eat. And we fed them and called them in with the crow call that we use and got them going. And then this morning, usually I feed them in the mornings. This morning, when I got up to do my normal chores and take care of the pigs and stuff, they were out there yelling at me just like normal. And so I went out and fed them and called them in, and they're back, baby. I just posted a picture in the chat, and I'll show you in video too, uh, what it looks like. So, I mean, there's still 2.5, 3 feet of snow in that part of the yard. So there's a pretty good path there that Scott had to carve out to get to their feeder. But however, we're warm. We are acting like we're thawing. It's like 38 degrees right now. So our snow's disappearing quick. So hopefully that lasts. But anyway, guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, I'm so happy. They do like unsalted peanuts in the shell. And for some reason, I couldn't get them. All we have in my town is a Walmart and like a couple grocery stores. But all they had were unshelled peanuts. They're unsalted, of course. They're like in the wildlife department. But so I'm going to have to maybe order some or look at a different town, but I couldn't get them. So hopefully, I'm hoping they'll be okay with that. But oh, cool. Oh, I love that. She saw some crows at an art or a crow at an art gallery. She took a couple of pictures for me. That's amazing. I love it. You were right. Thank you, my friend. Love it. Oh, Chris said that Vaughn's owns Aldi's and Trader Joe's. Well, Chris, that makes sense. See, what do I know? Yes, juniper spirits. So, yeah. So Scott, of course, is he wants to make gin because he can distill vodka with the still that he has. So now he's like, okay, well now we got to make gin. So we had to buy a lot of gin to try it and see what we like. You guys had peanuts in the shell at your Dollar Tree? Unsalted? What? Ugh, I think we get the short end of the stick with shopping all over the place around here. Yes. Yeah, still so much snow in. And the mountains up around us in the next few days are supposed to get 3 feet. 3 feet! But it looks to me like it might be rain here. And if it is, our snow will be retreating real fast. So that's pretty cool. But you ought to see what's coming off my house. Oh, sheets of ice. Mm. Mary said, "We're having the worst weather, and in about 10 minutes, I have to leave for jury duty." Oh, excuse me. Jury duty in 40-mile-per-hour winds and rain, but she will be listening. Yep, we sure will. Ooh, Mary, jury duty. I'm jealous, and my heart goes out to you because that's rough. Last year, I got called to federal grand jury duty, and I was so excited, and I never got called once. What the? What the? You know. I know. I'm like one of the only people that wants to go to jury duty, except for that would make working really hard. But my gosh, I would sit on a jury. I would be thrilled to. I would love to sit on a grand jury. I was so excited and then nothing came of it. Probably because in the questionnaire, you have to tell them what you do for a living. So maybe professional psychic and true crime podcaster precluded me. They were like, we don't want this weird lady at all. We don't. No, I don't know. Yeah, Pamela said we're in the middle of a nor'easter. Yes, you guys be safe. Sounds like that's supposed to be pretty aggressive. Right, Julia? Screwed myself. Should have said housewife. No. You have to tell the truth as a juror. It could be very important down the line. Okay. All righty. Hey, Maya. Just looking at the chat room just a little bit. Yep. Mary said, yep, they sent you packing with your background, right? And I was the one that wanted to be there. Actually, I'm so lucky I didn't because that courthouse is an hour and a half from me. Can you imagine? That actually would have been a huge hardship and a huge financial hardship, but still would have done it. Lori Vallow's trial is going to start in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I don't know what I'm going to do. Christy and I are like separating. Like she's going to go one day a week. I'm going to go one day a week. We have a couple of listeners that are going to take turns going one day a week so that we can all, you know, keep track of it all because they're not televising it. And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be hard, I think, but we need to go and watch as much of it as we can. But they're saying that trial could last for 10 weeks. Like, how? How? It won't. It won't because it's just her and not Chad now. So I think it'll be easier. But anyway, I can't believe it's here. Lillian said, once you've done it 4 times, you'll never want to do it again. Oh, okay. You're probably right. Hey, Laurie. Yep. All right. But anyway, Mary, be safe. We will definitely send you some love. Sid said flip flop weather is brutal for wildlife and plants. It's tough here in Florida to have to go back and forth from summer routine clothing wise in the middle of winter. So glad the crows came back. Yeah. Well, it was nice to be in flip flop weather for me in Tucson. Coming back here to none of that jazz. Hey, Elizabeth. Good point. Sid said, I'm still trying to find my stolen hour, too. It's harder and harder each year to adjust. Maybe it has to do with the quickening, where each day is already shorter than what we've been used to. I wonder. I hate daylight savings. With an autoimmune disorder, daylight savings will trigger. Not always, and it's not going to this time, god damn it, but will trigger a flare for me, and I hate it. There's still a chance that Congress, I think I don't know. I read about this and I'm not sure if I'm correct, but what I thought that I read was that Biden could sign this year into obliterating daylight savings. I mean, states can opt out too. Arizona does not have daylight savings, but it's a mixed bag. I know, but I'm curious to know. Yes on daylight savings or no? You guys want to sign it out of existence, or do you think that we should keep it forever? I think it would be signing it to keep it actually. So we would stay, I think, at this time and never fall back. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But do you think that we should change twice a year or do you think we shouldn't? That's the question I want to ask. Should we change? Should we spring forward and fall back or should we knock it off? That's my question. I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts are, what your opinions are on daylight savings. So there you go. Okay. Let's let's talk about Luminous. There's a few things in there I wanted to get to. I really went full send with summer or spring equinox in Luminous. It's actually not until next Monday, so we're a minute away, but it's coming and it feels amazing. And I'm so excited for it. So I did dedicate Luminous to daylight savings, but also I have some ideas for you with that. Yeah. Yeah. Julia said, I noticed that I don't like spring forward, but by the end of fall, I don't like the switch from 6:30 sunset to 5:30. Saskatchewan stays the same also. Oh, interesting. Nice. See, that's for me. I don't like it because of my health hates it. My body doesn't like it. But also the animals. Oh, the pigs are still all thrown off. It throws off their feeding schedule so bad. The dogs are cool. They just they're okay with it. But man, it messes the pigs up and trying to convince them when it's not time to eat and stuff. Ugh, it's annoying. Drives me crazy. Drives them crazy, obviously. Okay. Alrighty. All right. So on the cover, I put this gorgeous set of angel wings. Aren't those pretty? I just love them. So again, I did call this the Spring Equinox Magic Edition because it's here. We're going to we're going to take advantage of it one way or the other. So I had a few ideas to celebrate. Create an altar, of course, an Ostera altar using light colors, flowers, eggs, or eggshells. You're really rich and ballin' if you're doing that this year. Rabbit totems, green and white candles, lavender crystals, carnelian, amethyst, clear and rose quartz, and sacred herbs of your choosing. Spring cleaning, burn sacred herbs to cleanse your space. So, of course, that could be lots of things, but most particularly, you might choose sage or basil or making a strong basil and rosemary tea for clearing. You might use dragon's blood. You could use Palo Santo. And there's others. So you decide. But also, so clearing your space is important after winter, but also declutter, dust, open windows, regift old items that no longer serve you, just generally spruce up. Start your garden. Now, this one makes me laugh because, there's no starting a garden here right now. But, and one of our greenhouses caved in this winter. Sad day. It's the greenhouse where our fish are too, all of our koi. And Scott's been working overtime to make sure that the koi are okay, and they seem to be fine. But yeah, the greenhouse is done. It's shot. So that's sad. But we'll have to deal with that when all that snow melts. But you can still start your seeds indoor if you can't start turning your soil yet and working with your garden beds. So getting your hands in soil in some way is good for you. Prepare a salad. Eating greens is a great way to invite the green back. So consider picking up several salad things and maybe incorporating salads back into your meals more. I don't know about you guys, but in the winter, we're much more likely to eat more things like soups and stews and casseroles, heavier, hotter things. And then in the spring and summer, we're more likely to grill and make salads and lighter stuff like that. Take a walk. You can do this no matter what the weather's, well, maybe not this very minute, but in general, get outside, enjoy the sun, be mindful of the small changes. And this is where it's at for me, looking for, not quite yet, but looking for the crocuses and the tulips to start peeking their heads up, looking for things like the crows returning, stuff like that, looking for signs of spring and celebrating those. And then, of course, I included the instructions that I've included these lots of times to make an Ostara egg. So you take an egg and you poke a hole in the top and the bottom. Use a long needle to scramble up the contents or a toothpick, and then blow the egg out into a bowl. Wash and dry the eggshell. I usually just wash mine and kind of rinse the inside out a little bit and then sit it upright to let it dry overnight. Then you take rose petals, dried ones, and you soak them in white glue. So you can use Mod Podge or just Elmer's white glue. And you'll see when you put your rose petals in the glue and just let them sit for a few minutes, they soak up the glue and they get almost like a putty-like texture. It's really cool. So then you use your rose petals and you wrap them around the egg. And you have to layer it, and sometimes you'll have to come back after it dries and do another layer or two if you didn't totally cover the egg, or just to get it where you want it to be. Let it dry and then tie a green ribbon around it to represent fertility and new growth. The idea of an Ostara egg is all about fertility and new growth, so that's why you would do it, or even make a bowl of them. One thing I've done in the past is used glitter glue so that you have just like glitter glue you can even get at the dollar store that has different colors of glitter in it, so you get a little different colored product. Anyway, those are fun to make, but yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Looks like most of you would like daylight savings to knock it off. To just find one zone and stick with it and stop with all the changes. That's where I am. I don't even care which one it is, honestly. I would just like the changes to stop. All right, bitch scopes. Of course, so much happening this week. She said on Monday it's basically a no pants day. That was yesterday, so hopefully that was true for you. Let's look for a scope here. Let's see. Well, you know what? We're reading Pisces. It is their birthday, and it is most specifically my daughter Matea's birthday today. So happy birthday to Miss Matt. It's also my baby brother's birthday. Did you guys know I have a brother? You might not. Well, that's because he died when he was 4 months old. So he's younger than me and older than my sister Kara. So he's in between us. And my mom, my mom was little. She was 5 feet tall, and he was quite overdue, like more than a week overdue. And she lived in a really rural place, even more rural than where I live, up against the Grand Teton Mountains. And when she went into labor, he was breech and she could not deliver him. And the closest town was where I live now, which is about an hour away. And there was no OB at the time. He was on vacation and she could not get a C-section there. So they'd have to go on to the next town that was a good another hour and a half away. Well, no, good hour away for them. And they let her labor for more than 24 hours. And her water had broken. She could not deliver him. It was getting really serious. They should have put her on an ambulance and sent her, away to where they could get her to an OB a lot before the time that they did, but they didn't, and kept thinking that they could deliver, but they couldn't. And things got really serious. In the meantime, there had been that's near the ski hills in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where there's like world class skiing there. And there had been, that's where a lot of really wealthy people live and go to ski and stuff. So there was a man there whose son had been in a skiing accident and broken his leg. And he had put him on his private plane and flown him to this little airport, or sorry, to this little hospital where my mom was trying to deliver this baby. And he overheard the doctor and the nurse in the hall talking about what they were going to do for my mom because she was going to die. They felt like she and the baby were probably not going to live through this because they had waited so long that they couldn't get her to a hospital by ambulance fast enough to deliver, and things were like going south really fast. Well, he said, "Well, put her on my plane then. Where could I'll fly her? I'll fly her to the hospital." So that's what they did. They put her and a nurse on his little plane. He flew her to Idaho Falls, where an ambulance was waiting. They prepped her for surgery in the ambulance so that when they got her to the hospital, they took her directly in and did a C section. It saved her life, but the baby was terribly injured. Because he was breech, all of those contractions were happening right on his head. And so he was terribly brain damaged. And he never could swallow. They gavage fed him for 4 months, and eventually he passed in his sleep. And it really affected her, as you can imagine, and my dad throughout their lives, but especially her. Uh, you know how moms want to make themselves feel guilty for every such thing, you know? And she always felt like she should have known better than to trust the medical care there. She should have insisted that they take her somewhere else, you know. She was in her early 20s. She did the best she could with what she had, obviously, you know. But it was a really hard experience, obviously. And she always uh she always talked about Ricky. She always had a picture of him, you know, wherever in her bedroom and in the living room, and she didn't have much for pictures, you know, but he was never forgotten. He was always a part of our conversation. And they buried him up in against the Tetons in that area where they lived. But then they moved later on to where I live now. And when she died, bury him. She wanted to be buried in the cemetery where her family is. And she was really torn because she also wanted to be buried next to her baby, but she didn't want to be buried up there. A lot of hard emotions and feelings about that place for good reason. So we promised her. We were like, "Yeah, we got this. We'll exhume him and we'll bury him next to you." Well, guys, you can't just do that, apparently. We assumed you could. What do we know? No, you can't. After she died and we were at the funeral home making her arrangements, we said, "Oh, also, we have this baby situation. We want to exhume him and bring him next to her." And the funeral home director looked at us like we were crazy. And he's like, "Whoa, you have to apply for a permit with the state to do that. And they very rarely approve things like that. They probably won't let you do it." And I was like, "Pfft, you don't know who you're dealing with." Yes, they will. And he said it would take months. He said, "We'll go ahead and file the application." He said it was more in our favor because my dad was still living, who was the father of that baby, and so he's like, we'll try, but you guys don't get your hopes up because that it's rarely done. The day of her funeral, guess what came back? The approval. That's right. We do what we want. She did what she wanted. And I always felt like there's no way we wouldn't win this with the state. And we did. We didn't even have to appeal. The funeral home was amazed. So 2 weeks after we buried her, we were able to have the baby exhumed and moved and buried right at her head. and his little headstone is moved and is right in front of my parents' headstone. And she got what she wanted. And I would have moved heaven and earth to make sure she got what she wanted in that instance. Yeah, she definitely did, Lillian. She did what she wanted. But, do I think Matea could be his reincarnation? No, I've always actually thought Micah was my oldest. Yep. I think he was always the son that my dad never got to have. Yeah. But, anyway, I don't know why I told you that whole big story today, except for that, it's been in my heart. I thought about writing it up for Luminous today, and then, to be honest, I ran out of time, so I did something else. But, yeah, I definitely think she had something to do with that, Lillian, without a doubt. Mhm. I don't know why that all happened. I don't know why, he didn't get to have a long, full life. I don't know. Is it just simply that there was medical malpractice there, and that's what it was? Was there a higher purpose to that? I don't know. I'm not gonna say I think there was or there wasn't. I think that, he had a family that loved him, would have taken excellent care of him, and did when he came home from the hospital. He was in the hospital for weeks and then, came home for a short time before he passed. He wasn't they didn't ever expect that he could live. He couldn't swallow, he was blind, he was deaf. Uh, you know, he was not going to live, which is sad. It's so sad looking back to me thinking about how he wasn't disabled before that happened. He was fine. Like, the birth injury caused that. He would have been, I believe, completely normal. Yeah. Yes, Matt and Ricky have the same birthday. Yeah, isn't that special, Lillian? When she was born, that was a really special, significant thing for my parents and for me. But I've wondered a lot of times, like, who would this guy be? I mean, my gosh, he'd be 44 now. At any rate, it is what it is, and he, I do believe, got to come back. So, yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep going. Let's read Pisces scope. The Sun and Mercury leave your first house of identity and move into your show me the money house. Your ideas and energy will be more directed to making and receiving money for at least a few weeks. Ooh. Pluto is having one last hurrah in your 11th house of people you know, so it's possible that some profitable connections can be made. Venus enters your third house of communication, making you most attracted to humor and the exchange of ideas. Grumpy guests will not be invited to your party. Your card is the World. This is the last card of the major arcana, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. I don't plan this shit, I just deliver the messages. Anyway, goals will be reached, efforts rewarded. A cycle is ending, but even better ones are starting. I hope you can lean back and enjoy the view. So there you go, Pisces. Seems to me like everything is going pretty damn well. And it is for my Pisces, man. So she's a senior in college. She has just persevered through. She's not going to graduate till December. She's still got her capstone to do, but technically she's a senior. She's just marching along, just dazzling me every step along the way. And then she'll apply for occupational therapy school. That's the goal, is to go right on into her OT, which I suspect will be exactly what she does. Okay, my tip of the week was planting seeds of appreciation for you. So I love this practice. Bless your seeds and then whisper everything that you love and appreciate about yourself into your seeds. This is a practice of loving your plants and loving yourself. Be patient and kind. Take all the time that you need. Plant the seeds in the potting mix, and then water them and put them in a sunny window. Every time you water your seedlings, repeat to yourself all of the love and appreciation you offered when you planted your seeds. Your plants will flourish with all of the love and beauty you have put into them. I love this practice because we so rarely appreciate ourselves. And I know that for some people, it's very hard to come up with those things. I've done a few group sessions, group work with people where when I ask them to speak out loud some of the things that they loved and cared about themselves, I was amazed at how hard it was to for them to do that, how painful it was for them to do that. And I think it gets easier as you go, but also that love for you have for yourself, you're pouring into those plants and it helps them to grow and be successful too. It's an interesting practice. I challenge you to try it. Yeah. All righty. Well, that's all I'm going to do with Luminous because we're going to run out of time. But I hope that you find some gems in there that are good for you. And we'll keep on moving. So, thank you, Julia. Okay. Sid said, with your powerful intention and mom helping from the other side, being reunited with Ricky was going to happen. Amazing it did on the first try, right? There was some stuff with the day they exhumed him too, but I won't get into all of that because it's long. But we got what we wanted. Yeah. Okay. A few reading requests I wanted to get to. Julia said, I'm in a quandary about the best, highest good for all action to take with the mold all over the basement laundry ceiling right under my apartment. Oh gosh. I've asked 2 times over the past 2 years with answers that he says he doesn't think it's an issue. It's much worse now. So I put a note in my rent this month. Can you see if he plans to do anything? Is it in everyone's best interest to go to the health department or building standards to inspect it? Yes, I'm a bit of a coward and don't want to deal with my landlord's reactions. I actually feel like, Julia, that it is one thing you could do is usually at Lowe's or in Home Depot, they have mold tests. You could, and they're not very expensive. They're like 8, $10. So you could buy a couple. They're just a little tray thing that you put out and leave it out for a certain amount of time, close it up, send it off to the lab, and they'll test it and tell you how much mold you're looking at. So you could do two things. You could test it in your apartment, and also you could probably pretty covertly put one out in the laundry room too and test both. Then you'd at least have some proof of how this could be affecting you, how much mold is actually in the laundry room and if it's dangerous, and of course how much is coming up into your apartment and if it's dangerous. So if I were you, I would do that first so that you know, so you have the proof in hand of what you have. And then yeah, if it looks like it's something that could be not good for you and other people in the building, I feel like you may have to go on. That's gross. And that is definitely his responsibility to take care of that and remediate that. Also, he's only costing himself more money the more he waits because he's going to start having to remediate a lot more than that laundry room if he keeps letting it go on. Uh, ick. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But that's what I would do first. I would test it, see what you got. It's not hard or expensive to do. Oh, JR is going to the dentist to get more dental work done. How do we see it going? Oh, JR, I'm going to tune in on that. I know the last bit was really hard. Actually, I feel like this will be a little bit easier on you. Yeah. I feel like I mean, you're still going to have some down days, of course, but I don't feel like this is going to be as hard as it was last time with as many setbacks. So I will hold space with you that it is an easier experience. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Mary had asked for the chakra balancing. Let's get it on that, Mary. While she's driving in horrific weather on her way to jury duty. All right, Mary. I'm going to just get you good and grounded here. Yeah, it just feels like a lot today, doesn't it? To have to take on the weather and the jury duty. It's your empathy, Mary. I think that's going to be your biggest challenge here in feeling so many feels at the courthouse. The fear, if there's a lot of fear and apprehension, and I want you to know I don't think that's actually yours. I think you're feeling that from a lot of other people. So I'm going to ground that out. But remember that as it comes up, that you have nothing to fear. You are safe, you're protected, everything's okay. Okay, got you good and balanced. And again, I'm just going to ground that fear into the earth and remind you to protect your spirit, recognize that your empathy is going to be in full drive, and take good care of you. Okay. Pamela, if you're doing readings, can you check out my right knee? I've never had a problem with my knees and I'm freaking out a bit about it. I don't need another body part acting up. Yeah, Pamela, let's take a look. I'm sorry. That sucks. I don't think it's your knee, Pamela. I feel like this is actually your hip. I think it's your hip or your low back. I feel like it's another body part that's into shenanigans that is making that knee overcompensate and hurt. Might be time for a checkup. Also, some really gentle stretching and good care for your body. But I suspect that knee actually is okay. But I am going to put a big chi ball around it to help support your healing. I just can't shake that that has something to do with up into your pelvis or your right hip. Yeah, you're probably going to need to just get a checkup on that. Okay. Lillian, I can't figure out what to do with my next move. Can you tell me if you see me leaving Florida? I know, and the dizziness is very annoying for me. And you know. Let's look into it. I still don't see you leaving Florida. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that you won't. Maybe something will change, but at this point right now, looking into it, I don't. I still think Florida is where you're going to stay. Okay. Okay. Oh, the back makes sense, Pamela. Okay, got it. Yep. Yep. Oh, Pamela did have a strip tested 2 years ago, and it came back that it needed further inspection at the time. I feel it's his responsibility, so I didn't go further. I can do another. It's much worse now, and I have mud in my mold in my bloodstream. Yeah, then Julia, go for it. Y- Somebody has to stand up to him, and it has to be taken care of. That is absolutely his responsibility. Yep, especially in a central space like that. Yep. Lillian said, "I think so too. Damn it, you don't want to stay in Florida." Jacqueline said, "I took a fall backwards recently. I'm due to go commercial halibut fishing in Alaska. Wondering if I'm going to be able to get a medical release from my doctor. I have other issues as well." Actually, Jacqueline, I still think that you will. Yeah, I still feel like you will. I feel like he's going to maybe give you some restrictions or give you some, some thoughts about how long he'd want you to go. But I don't feel like he's going to stand in your way if you're going. Yeah, just commercial halibut fishing. Wow, in Alaska, what an experience. Okay, well, just jumping in the other chat really quick. Don't mean to completely neglect you guys. Okay, looks like we're good. Alrighty. Beware of the Ides of March, right? We're into it. All right, let's do our message from Kathleen Peterson before we run out of time. So, of course, this is our We Are Here For You book. These are channeled messages from angels and other light beings through Kathleen, and we're sharing them. So, as usual, we use this like a bibliomancy reading. So, I'm just asking, what do we need to know this week? Going to flip the book open, and whatever page we land on, well, that's what she wants us to know. Horus. Am I wrong, or did we have Horus last week? I kind of think we did, and that's maybe why I'm going to try again, just in case. If we get Horus again, we'll go on it. But I kind of feel like I had it open to that page, and that might be because I think we just had Horus. Ishtar. Okay. Yes, I wasn't here last week, the week before. Yeah. All right, Ishtar. Today I offer to send you light, which will surround you and deflect the lower energies of fear and doubt. You can call on me at any time to shine the light of love and healing upon you so that you can release all the fears and doubts in your life. I will assist you in this process so that you may be in the light of love and fearlessness. You are loved and you need not live in fear and doubt. Take my hand and know that I stand with you to support you in all of your endeavors. I support you as you develop and work with the gifts and talents within. I will shine light down upon you and surround you so that you will be free to pursue your divine purpose. See the light and know that you are safe. Feel the light and know that you are protected and that the fear with which you have been engulfed is disappearing. As you stand within the light, you will be able to allow your own light to shine forth, breaking the darkness and spreading the light into the world around you. Use the light that I send and send your own light to reach into the corners where darkness runs to hide. Like a candle in a darkened room, your light will fill the area and reduce the fear, doubt, and anger in any situation. I will assist you in this effort. Know that the light I shine, dear ones, is open to receiving love and that it only deflects that which is of a lower vibration. Stand in this light and lift your vibration, opening to love that surrounds you within and without. You are loved. You are worthy of love. You deserve to live fearlessly and free. Be free, be strong, and stand tall in your glory. Stand in all the light I send and know that you are already perfect as you. You are loved and supported. Fear not, for even if you make a mistake, this will not remove the love. Be prepared to receive love, as it will empower you and provide you with the wisdom to move through life with compassion and grace. I send you light today when you ask. I await your request. Go through your day with strength, wisdom, and love in your heart and soul. Be free. Well, I love that. Yes. Well, that's a good point, Julia. Each light being has three or four different channelings, so it could have been a different message from Horace. I like that one from Ishtar, though. We'll take it. All righty. Well, we've done it. We have definitely talked down to the end of the show. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to remind you that I am a professional psychic advisor over at 12listen.com, and I'm there every day. So if I can help you out, come see me. I'd love to talk. Take care, guys, and have a good one.